The day the company died wasn't when the stock cratered. It wasn't when they swapped real coffee for that oat milk sludge that tasted like wet cardboard and broken dreams. It was the day Victor strode in like he'd invented gravity. Victor Vance, 29, new chief product officer, smelling of oat milk lattes and Series B arrogance. He clapped once, sharp, like a starter pistol, and announced we were sunsetting the monolith by Christmas. The slide he threw up looked like a toddler had sneezed buzzwords onto a whiteboard. Event-driven, serverless, AI first, arrows looping in epileptic circles. One of those arrows casually erased the beating heart of our order fulfillment engine, my engine, code I'd written in 2021 while the world's supply chain choked on its own panic. I cleared my throat. First words I'd spoken in a stand-up in 4 months. That node you just deleted handles 94% of carrier compliance. Kill it, and every truck on the eastern seaboard stops moving. Victor flashed the smile he'd practiced for TechCrunch photo shoots. And you are? He knew exactly who I was. My line item on the budget simply read, External Systems Architect, do not touch. Sarah, I said. I wrote the thing you're about to lobotomize. He laughed, the kind that never touches the eyes. Sarah, babe, I respect the museum pieces, but we're building tomorrow. That spaghetti is anchoring us to 2021.
Babe.
The word landed like a cigarette, but in a punch bowl. See, back when this startup was 3 founders and a prayer, they couldn't pay my day rate. So my attorney, Roxy, a woman who keeps brass knuckles in her purse, structured a different deal. I formed Obsidian Core LLC. They didn't hire Sarah the human. They licensed Obsidian's fulfillment platform. Think Oracle, think Salesforce. You don't own the software. You rent the right to keep breathing because of it. And I kept the master key. Victor never read the vendor deck. He saw a tired woman in a faded blade, runner tea, and assumed I was expendable. He had no idea he was trying to evict the landlord while still sleeping in the bed. Friday, 4:30 p.m., classic execution hour. HR corralled me into the glass box by the elevators. Victor leaned against the wall, arms folded, radiating Forbes cover energy. Lisa from People Ops slid the termination packet across the table like a death warrant. I placed my badge and MacBook down gently, then set a thick black folder on top. Before we finished the employee part, I said, we should probably discuss the vendor part. Victor rolled his eyes. This some kind of stunt. I spun the folder. 2019 Master License Agreement. Auto-renewing quarterly. IP never assigned. Kill switch provisions highlighted in vicious pink. You didn't just fire on-site support, I told him. You missed Tuesday's 7-figure licensing payment. That's material breach. He actually smirked. We own whatever you built here. Work for hire. Standard clause. Except I was never hired, I said. Read paragraph 5, babe. By Monday 8:02 a.m., every warehouse scanner on the continent threw up red. Trucks idled. Customer service, lines melted. The dashboard read a single line in friendly white text. License expired. Contact Obsidian Core LLC. My phone detonated. I let it ring while I made pancakes. At 8:47, the CEO himself called, voice shaking like a leaf in a hurricane. Sarah, name your price to make this stop. $3.2 million for full IP transfer. Perpetual license. Wire it in the next 40 minutes or the privacy vault wipes every customer record at 9:30. GDPR compliance, you understand. Silence. Then a muffled, she's not bluffing from their general counsel in the background. At 9:28 the wire hit. $3,200,000. Enough for a house on the coast and a lifetime supply of top-shelf bourbon. I flipped the digital dead man switch. Green lights cascaded across their monitors like Christmas in July. I could almost hear the cheering 3 states away. 2 months later, I walked into the lobby of their biggest rival wearing actual shoes instead of sneakers held together by spite. The VP of engineering greeted me with the grin of a man who'd just watched his competitor set themselves on fire. Word is you sold them their own house and kept the deed. Something like that, I said, sliding a crisp new contract across the table. Now, let me build you something that doesn't need a kill switch, because no one will be dumb enough to steal from me twice. 6 months after that, we launched. Their stock lost 42% in a week. Victor got reassigned to innovation scouting, translation, exile with a laptop. I bought a little blue bungalow that smells of salt and pine, hung the original licensing agreement in a shadow box above my desk, and poured 2 fingers of the good stuff. Every now and then some 20-something bro in a Patagonia vest calls perfectly good code legacy. I just smile, sip my drink, and check that my new contracts are even tighter. Because the house always wins, especially when the house owns the foundation, the wiring, and every single key.